Hi everyone, this is going to be a small tutorial in using MobiFlight to map a Honeycomb Bravo to the CRJ so that you can use the altitude knob to increase and decrease your altitude on the autopilot. So we can see here that the altitude is increasing and decreasing as I turn the knob. It's a two-step process where we need to make one to detect altitude mode and one to increase and decrease the altitude itself. I'm going to start with a fresh file. And the first thing that we'll do is we'll map the mode selector switch to altitude. So we double click to start a new configuration. I'm going to call this alt_mode. And we go to edit. And what we can do is we can go through the list of modules, or we can scan for an input. And right now my mode selector switch is on VS and I'm moving it to alt. And we can see that it's detected the Bravo throttle quadrant and mode alt. And we can see that we can use this in the same way for mode IAS, cruise, heading, VS, etc. I'm not sure if there's other ways to do this, but this is the way I found. So we're going to change our action type to MobiFlight variable. It's going to be a number, and I'm going to rename the variable to alt_mode. And we'll give it a value of 1. On release, we're going to give it a value of 0, and you can see that I use the copy and paste buttons on the right hand side. So to test this, we can make an output config called alt_mode, or whatever you want to call it. And if we edit it, we can go up to MobiFlight variable. It's a number, and we should be able to use the drop-down list or just start typing and get alt_mode. And okay, and now when we run it, if I switch back and forth on the mode selector switch from VS or anything to alt, when it's on alt, it's a 1 or on. And when I switch to VS, it changes to 0. So I'm kind of bouncing the knob back and forth right now. So we can see that it works. So now let's create the increase and decrease. So I'll call this one alt_increase. And we go to edit. We will scan for input, and now I'm using the increase knob and twisting it to the right. And sure enough, we have Bravo throttle quadrant encoder right. Our on press action is going to be Microsoft Flight Simulator, vendor Aerosoft, aircraft CRJ, system autopilot. And by narrowing that down, we see we get 56 matches. We can go through the list, or we can search for alt, and now we have 6 matches. And sure enough, this will be this select increase, or alt select increase. And before we hit OK, we now need to set a precondition. And that precondition, if you click on none, we can use the type of MobiFlight variable. It's already chosen the variable because we only have 1 in our thing. If the current value equals 1, and OK. So now what that's going to do is it's only going to allow us to use this input alt increase when the alt mode is on alt mode, we can right click and duplicate this for alt decrease. And the only things we need to change in here are on the input. We need to change it from encoder right to encoder left, or counterclockwise clockwise. We need to change that here to decrease. And we don't need to change the precondition. We want to keep the precondition as 1. So now I still have it running, but I found sometimes you need to stop it and run it again. And now when I turn the knob, we can see that the altitude will increase or decrease. When I take it off of alt mode, we can see these 2 little warning icons, but that basically just means that the precondition hasn't been met. I'm turning the knob. It's now on VS mode. Nothing's happening. I turn back to alt mode. The warnings go away because preconditions have been met, and I'm able to increase and decrease again, although I guess my video doesn't show that. So I'm sure that there's more than one way to do it, but this is the way that I found, and I hope that this is helpful to everybody.